through the spirit and the power of Yahweh by Shemi Shai. Right? Shabbat Shalom to the 12 tribes scattered abroad. Right? Give me the book of 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 19.
God. This is the book of 1 Thessalonians, chapter 5 and verse 19.
Bring it out.
Quench not the spirit.
It said what?
Quench not the spirit.
Read that again.
Quench not the spirit.
The Bible says quench not the spirit. We got to understand that this Bible is our power. These words that are written therein, like this is an actual illustration of our life being written out onto paper, right? This is more than just a book. This is more than just something you kind of come across. This is more than just something that's collecting dust on your family shelf, your attic, your coffee table. This is literally your power and where you draw your strength from. So the Bible, it tells us to quench not our spirit. What's going on, brother? Hey, what's your nationality? Come let me know something. I got a guess? Well, can you stay up here so I can guess? Well, is it you Hispanic? That's a Samoan. It's kind of dark. Well, he told me to guess his national. What? I could say anything. I could call you Chinese and you could get offended.
Right.
What's going on, brother? What's your nationality, bro?
I'm freaking Indian, dude.
You freaking Indian.
Freaking South. What's that? Oh.
You South Asian? Like South Asian Indian?
No, I'm like South, like from South India.
Oh, okay. You could continue. I just wanted to know your nationality.
Are you guys Sunni?
Well, we're the real Hebrew Israelites, God's chosen people. Have you heard of them?
No, I have, man. I used to be from a neighborhood that had a lot of Muslims.
We're not Muslim.
You guys are not Muslim?
No. We believe in the Bible. We believe that the 12 tribes that are in the Bible are us today.
Right. Yeah, I understand, man.
Yeah, so you can continue to enjoy your night. I just wanted to know the answer.
I apologize.
All right. No, you get all praises. Enjoy your night. Right? And prepare for captivity. Keep going on there, King. Read that again.
Verse 19, right? Quench not thy spirit.
Right?
Quench not the spirit.
Right? We can't, like I said, we can't quench the spirit. Right? A lot of our people, they're caught up in these different philosophies, these different religions, but they have the zeal, but it's not according to knowledge. Give me that in Romans. We'll get it later. You got 1 minute, brother? You got 1 minute. Brother.
1 minute.
Give me 1 minute.
1 minute.
All praises. What's your nationality, King? Where you from? What's your okay, I'm gonna word it a little differently. I'm gonna make it make sense. Just bear with me, all right? If you were to fill out a job application, what would you put on there? CEO. You say what? CEO. As a nationality. Yeah, like your race. Okay, all praises. Now we got a sign right here. I want you to take a look at. I know it's kind of dark, but we got a sign right here. So, do you believe in God? Yeah, I do. Do you believe in the Bible? Some of it. Okay. That's a good first 2 steps, right? Because the thing is, the Bible is directly connected to our lineage, right? I would be a so-called slave with an African American. Even though there's things that's around, in this world that they label us as, that's really not our nationality. So African American, that's not a real nationality. You see what I'm saying? That's the last name of 2 different white men, if that makes sense. And we don't come from 2 different white men, but that's just the history of it. Now, I'm not gonna make this long. I know you got somewhere to be. It's Saturday. You probably want to go home, so I'm gonna be quick with it, right? So, like I said, give me Jeremiah 17:4. Right? We're God's chosen people. Now, if you look on the side, I ain't gonna, it says that the African Americans will be from the tribe of Judah. See, that's number 1 on the list. That's the top tribe of the nation. See, so you come from a nation of kings and priests, and I want to prove it through the scripture. Bring it out, King.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 17 and verse 4.
Bring it out.
And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage.
Right. So I'm gonna break this down because you say you believe in some of the Bible, right? Now, what separates the Bible from every other book or every other religion is that the Bible, it has this thing called a prophecy. You know what a prophecy is? A prophecy, I'll go into it. Yeah. A prophecy is something that's written beforehand that's going to come to pass later, if that makes sense. It's kind of like a promise that's being told. If I say, look, if you do this, or let's say, if you walk a mile, I'll buy you a bag of chips. and then you walk that mile. So now I got to give you the bag of chips because I said it beforehand, and now it has to happen later. See, it's a promise. It's something I was told before. It's gonna happen later. Now, the way that we know the Bible is real is because it contains many, many different prophecies that surrounds not only our people but the entire world that we already see. Many of them have already happened, and some things are happening before our eyes, and there are some things that haven't even happened yet. So that's what separates the Bible from every other religious book out there. It's really not even a book of religion. It was turned into a book of religion. It's really just Black history. I'll put it like that. Into a book, into words. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Just one last thing, and then I gotta go. It's written in English. The original language was
Hebrew.
and the translation of language to language can be.
That's true. But does that?
And then it's over years.
Okay.
So some of it.
I feel you. But even though that's true, you got to think. Does that necessarily mean that everything in the Bible is wrong?
No.
Right.
No,
So
I didn't say that.
okay.
I said.
Okay. Now watch this.
The book of Psalms, chapter 12 and verse 6.
Bring it out.
The words of the Lord are pure words, as silver tried in the furnace of earth, purified 7 times. Thou shalt keep them.
Right. When you purify gold, that means you get rid of all the impurities. It might have copper in it. Right. When you dig out gold from under the earth, it might have other elements within it. It might have copper in it. It might have some, stone in it. All these other elements. But when you heat it up, when you melt it, when you burn it, and it becomes refined and pure gold, that's the purest form it could come in. Right. It's unchangeable. It has no impurities. The Bible is the same way. You can pass down the Bible many generations, but the Bible was saying it's prophecy that this was going to be passed down many generations. So of course there's going to be language barriers. Things are going to change in our world, and the language is going to change from what we knew because we had to go into captivity. So of course the language has to be switched up for that prophecy to be fulfilled.
So I think what could help learn Hebrew, read the.
Well, not necessarily, because the Bible, you don't have to learn the Hebrew if it's written in English. Even though it's translated, that doesn't, like I said, that doesn't mean that the Bible is incorrect.
That's right. I just some guy in the back room with the top hat on translate.
But that's not how it happened.
What happened?
It was actually a council of brothers that were well versed in, I'll say it like this, bilingual, and they were well versed in how to translate certain things.
Right.
They were actually appointed to do that.
I thought Constantine.
No. Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary.
Yeah. Like Caesar in Greek took the different tribes together and they translated the Bible.
Nah, that's not what happened.
That's not what happened.
We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it for you, brother.
Good question, though. Good question.
Yeah, that's a good point. I ain't gonna lie to you. A lot of people they don't ask questions like that. So I'm glad you brought that up. Right. Bring it
Oh
up.
yes, sir.
Right. This is the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. This is under the word King James Version. It says, when Elizabeth died in 1603, the crown was passed to James I, who had been king of Scotland for 37 years. As King James the sixth, several months after he ascended the throne, England authorized a new translation of the Bible to replace the Bishop's Bible. 47 of Hebrew and Greek scholars of the day were divided into 6 groups: 3 for the Old Testament, 2 for the New, and 1 for the Apocrypha. 2 of the groups met at Oxford, 2 at Cambridge, and 2 at Westminster. When a group had completed the task, the work was submitted to 12 men, 2 from each panel. Final differences of the opinion were settled at general meeting of each company. In cases of special difficulty, learned men outside the board of revisers were consulted.
Salak, read that one more time. That was key. Read that part one more time.
In cases of special difficulty.
In cases of special difficulty, because you gotta understand, this wasn't just like you said, a guy in a top hat and he got a dark room and he writing with a feather pen and he dipping it in the ink. That's not what happened under a kerosene lamp, right? This is a process. Like I said, this was scholars being appointed to this task. Many different men, right? So read that part again, King.
In cases of special difficulty,
right,
learned men outside the board of revisers were consulted. Marginal notes were used only to explain Hebrew, and Greek words to draw attention to parallel passages. Italics were used for words not found in original but necessary to complete the sense. The revisers who received no financial remuneration for their work completed their task in 2 years, and nine more months were devoted to the revision of their work.
Right. It's a lot, real quick. And all praises. And I wanna say this real quick. You know, like the brother just read, there's certain things in the Bible where it helps clear things up. If it's written in italics, that means that there's more context behind it that they had to clear up. That's why certain things are written maybe like kind of slanted. You know, certain things are written kind of bold because certain things have to be cleared up, because it said in case of difficulty, in case of there's a language barrier, in case of there's things that might not, you know, translate very well, they want us to understand what the context of the Bible was saying. You see what I'm saying? So there was extra measures given to make sure that the Bible could be understood, even though it was going from different languages and ultimately translated into English. All praises, right? You got it. All praises. You got to fly. Bring out your precept, kid.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 28 and verse 11.
Bring it out.
For with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to this people.
And Moses, he had to do the same thing. Moses, he grew up as an Egyptian. What did he have to do? He had to speak to his people in a language that they didn't know,
Right.
in a language that he wasn't well versed in, right? Moses, he wasn't even confident in speaking to his own people, right? He had to appoint his own brother to do that, right? So we have to understand, you know, and get rid of the sense of, oh, well, it was written in, you know, different languages, and, you know, we can't understand it, and it just can't be correct. But that's not true. The Lord put us in captivity. Of course, he's going to make a way for us to understand our power. Like I said, this is your power source. Why would the Lord kind of hinder that from you?
Right.
You know, the Lord is going to make it available to you because this is what we need to return. Give me Romans, I believe, 10 and, give me Romans 10 and 1. That's the whole purpose.
The book of Romans, chapter 10 and verse 1.
Right.
Brethren, my heart's desire and prayer to the Most High for Israel is that they might be saved.
Right. How can we be saved reading from a book that's false? Reading from a book that we don't understand.
Good question.
Keep going.
By bear them record that they have a zeal of the Most High, but not according to knowledge.
And our people, they have the zeal to serve the Most High, but it's not the right way. It's not according to the knowledge of the scriptures. That's Hosea. Give me Hosea 4 and 6. No.
Hosea 4 and
These
6.
are just, you know, these are all classics. Hosea 4 and 6. Right? Our people, they have the zeal to serve the Most High, but it's not according to the way that the Most High wanted us to do it. You know, we serve idols. We give our time to things that don't pertain to the scriptures, right? And we put that above the Most High. You know, our people are more engulfed at checking if, you know, somebody hit them back, you know, rather than, you know, praying first thing in the morning, right? We're engulfed in things that we shouldn't be engulfed in rather than serving the Most High. Make it out, King.
This is the book of Hosea, chapter 4 and verse number 6. You know, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge.
My people are what?
My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge.
Right? We're destroyed for a lack of knowledge. We don't understand certain things because we don't seek the knowledge that the Most High gave us. Keep going.
Because thou hast rejected knowledge,
Right?
I will also reject thee.
And that's playing upon tables. Because we reject knowledge, the Lord is going to reject us. The Lord accepted Solomon because he wanted wisdom. Solomon was given more than what he asked for, all because he wanted to know wisdom. Right? How much more us in the days that are evil? You know, the Lord, he could turn our spirits around. He could get spirits off our people if we just come to him and cleave to his ways. Right? Keep going on that, King.
Romans 10 and 3. But they, being ignorant of God's righteousness and going about to establish their own righteousness.
Right? Our people, they want to establish their own righteousness. They want to go and serve other gods. Right? I ain't gonna speak on it. Right? But I knew somebody at my old job, and she's an Israelite, and she's saying she's Buddhist, giving into these other doctrines of the other nations that make zero sense. So we have to come to our own power and denounce these powers of the nations. Right? And that's what the Most High, you know, the Lord, he told us, you know, we have set up many abominations. We have to tear those down. The same way we came into captivity, the same reason we have to reverse it so that, you know, we could get out of captivity. We complain so much that we're in captivity, we're in the lowest state, we're going through hell. Well, how do you get out of here? We got to find a solution, right? Rather than, adding on to the problem. And that's our main issue. That's why we're destroyed, because we have no knowledge. We don't think of the simple solutions as a nation. Right? The simple solution is to keep the commandments and live. Right? You got 1 minute, King?
Come on, King.
You got 1 minute, brother.
1 minute for the Lord.
Y'all seen that, baby? Yeah.
He
Kept it pushing.
The
The Lord's going to keep it pushing.
I don't his own Lord.
Hey, brother in the Jersey. Hey, you got 1 minute, brother? What's your nationality? He said he good. The Lord is going to see who's good in that day. It's not going to be pretty in the days to come, in the latter days when everyone's making merry, in the days of Noah, how it used to be. It's not going to be pretty when the Lord comes with destruction out of nowhere, man. When he comes like a thief in the night, right? And everybody who pierced him is going to see him, right? And then everybody's going to be judged accordingly. You got that precept? Bring it out, King. Everybody's going to be judged accordingly. If you say I'm good and brothers are trying to wake you up to the scriptures, now, of course, our people don't know any better, right? But the Lord still has to judge them for that. Bring it out.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 12 and verse 10.
Bring it out.
And I will pour upon the house of David and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of grace and of supplications. And they shall look upon me, whom they have pierced.
Whom they have what?
Whom they have pierced.
Right? We're going to look upon the Most High. Every Israelite, whether they know it or not, this word has been preached into the four corners of the world. They're going to have to look upon the Lord and realize the mistakes that we've made as a nation, but also on an individual basis. Was I willing to serve the Lord? Was I willing to hear the words of the Lord? Did I have the discernment to go to them brothers, right, rather than serve my flesh, right? Keep going, kid.
And they shall mourn for him, as one mourneth for his only son.
As one mourneth for his only son. Think of how Isaac had to give up. Think of how Abraham had to sacrifice Isaac. The man, a man is going to mourn over his own children, right? Even though he didn't have to do that. You got to think of what was going through this man's head. Our people are going to be in that same state of mourning when they find out the judgment that's being passed down to them. Keep going.
And shall be in bitterness for him, as one that is in bitterness for his firstborn.
Right?
And that,
hey, brother, you got 1 minute, King? Come here, South. What's your nationality, brother?
All praise.
All praises. Hey, King, what's your nationality, brother?
The race.
Where you from?
Haiti, come on, Haiti. Fresh.
You come out of Haiti? You believe in God, King? Hey, come listen to me real quick. Come listen. You believe in the Bible?
Y'all believe in God. I know I ain't create you, you create me. You feel me? Y'all believe in God. Y'all know you ain't create me. You know what I'm saying? I ain't create you. You know what I'm saying? Something else create me. Yeah. Y'all believe in God. Y'all believe in all that, man. The Holy Spirit, all that. You know what I'm saying? What y'all want to pray or something? What y'all got going on?
Now, I want to show you something.
Something,
Give me Jeremiah 17:4. You got to understand, us as a people, do you love your people, brother? You love your people?
I love my son. I love my people. I love God.
All praises. Now watch this.
the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17 and verse 4.
Now I'm going to break this down to you, all right? All right.
And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from the inheritance that I gave you.
Right? The Bible said, the God of the Bible said that you're going to discontinue from who you are. Now, I'm going to ask you again, what's your race? You said Haiti, right? You said black. Black is a color, brother. So how can your land, hold on, brother, how can your land, your heritage and nationality, your inheritance, how can that all be related to a color?
I believe in God, bro.
All right.
And I ain't gonna sit here and debate on nothing like that. I believe in God, bro.
All right.
It don't matter what race I am. You can be white, black, Mexican, Chinese, I don't give a fuck who you is in the business.
All right. Well, you're an Israelite, brother.
I'm gonna show you respect.
You guys chosen people, brother. You believe that?
Respect, man. I'm all about respect, bro. I know how to live in society. You know what I'm saying? Niggas from the society, dying society, they did six of the king. You feel me? So I'm getting out. I'm getting myself back.
Repent as a Hebrew Israelite and keep the commandments.
Yes.
Damn, y'all in Houston, y'all messed up, all right? Man, I ain't never seen that before.
I heard Atlanta was worse.
Nah, our demons ain't bad as y'all demons. Y'all got some demons out here, man. Right?
Half the devils walking right there, man.
And God's gonna kill them. Right? But I'm gonna wind down through the spirit. I'm gonna get a couple more. Give me Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 3. Yeah, bring it up.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 1 and verse number 3.
Bring it up.
The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib.
Jeremiah 2:27.
But Israel,
But who?
but Israel,
This book was written for who?
but Israel,
Salvation is for who?
but Israel,
Right?
doeth not know.
Right?
My people,
Whose people?
my people,
God's people.
my people,
Right?
doeth not consider.
We don't even consider that we're God's chosen people anymore. We don't even consider. Why am I being called a black man? But the damn Chinese man, he know his dynasties.
Bring it
He
out,
know
King.
where he go back to. Right? The Arabs, they know where they go back to. They got their own customs. Why am I subject to serve these people in a land that I never knew prior to slavery? Why don't they teach me my history in school prior to slavery? Right? Why am I just a slave? We have to understand, we have to consider these things. We can't just allow people to tell us things and then we just take it and run with it. We have to search out the matter, right? Keep going on that, King.
Verse number 4. I, sinful nation of people,
Right?
laden with iniquity.
We're just laced with iniquity, you know? We're just, we're full of iniquity, man. As a nation of people, we're just full of sin. Now, of course, you know, that's by design through the Most High, right? But, you know, we cleave to these nations and we become full of sin, right? We heap up iniquity like it's water, right? Keep going.
A seed of evildoers,
Right?
children that are corrupters,
Right?
that have forsaken the Lord.
We have forsaken the Lord and serving idols, right? Adultery, spiritual adultery and fornication. You know, doing all manner of wickedness and evil and things that are not according to the law.
Right.
Keep going.
They have provoked the Holy One of Israel
Right.
unto anger.
We have provoked the God of all things, the creator of all things, unto anger. What do you think is the judgment for making the creator of all things angry? Right? That's
Good
a
question.
scary thing to think about. The Lord can do anything, man. The Lord, he buildings fall on people. You know, people get swept up in tornadoes. The Lord can do anything, man. It's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the Lord. Right? And I'm going to leave off with this. Bring it out, King. Jeremiah 2:27.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 2 and verse 27.
Bring it out.
Saying to a stock, thou art my father, and to a stone, thou hast brought me forth. For they have turned their back unto me.
We have what?
They have turned their back unto me.
We turned our back to the Most High. Now, the Most High gave us chance after chance.
Right.
He didn't just put us through one captivity and it was over with, and then we learned our lesson. The Lord had to put us through many different captivities for us to get the point.
That's right.
And many of us, 2/3 of us, still not going to get the point. Right? 2/3 of us are still going to be wicked. Right? Even though the Lord had to put us through certain trials and tribulations, and our people, they understand, well, I know it's God doing this, but our people don't want to change their ways, man.
Right.
And that's why he sent his men out to get their people to see where we go off and to, Lord willing, change for the better. Right? Keep going, King.
And not their face, but in the time of their trouble, they will say, arise and save us.
Right? In the time of our trouble, you know, we neglect the Most High on every level,
Right.
but in time when we need help, right, that's when we say, oh God, you know, we're going to call upon the name of the Lord. You know, throw up a prayer, right? The prayer is off as hell, right? They're praying for things that they don't need to be praying about, saying in Jesus' name, right? But we don't even serve the Most High to allow him to hear that prayer.
Bring it out, King.
Right? What's going on, brother? You can walk up, King. We ain't gonna bite. All praises. Hey, where you from? What's your nationality? You're Mexican. All praises. Let me get that sign real quick. Right. So, do you believe in God? You believe in the Bible? All praise. That's two good signs. Why? Because it was made for you, brother. The Lord called you a prince on this earth. The Lord called you royalty, right? You're a select man out of a nation of people that God says were his, right? Now, according to the Bible, like this is the 12 tribes of Israel. You ever heard of Jacob? And his name was changed to Israel, and he had 12 sons, right? You're one of the descendants of those 12 sons.
That's right.
Right? Now, by prophecy, right, by archaeology, right, you would come, Lord willing, you would come out of the nation or the nation of Israel, but more specifically the tribe of Issachar. Does that make sense? Right, so your heritage is a Hebrew Israelite according to, our forefathers, right? Your history would be you're a Hebrew Israelite from the tribe of Issachar. All right, now I'm going to prove that. Give me, let's go back to Jeremiah 17:4, the classic. and then give me Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6.
Gotcha.
You said what, King?
I'm on John right now.
All right.
You say he's reading the book.
But Book of John, this brother in his Bible. You in your bag.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 17 and verse 4.
Figure it out.
And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave you.
Right. So what does it mean when you discontinue a product? You take it off. It's no longer available in the store, right? So what do you think the Bible says when it says this nation of people is going to be discontinued from their heritage? They're not going to know who they are anymore.
Right.
They're going to discontinue from understanding who they are, right? So as, you know, I'm going to say it as a Mexican, right? You have us as a nation, because we're the same people, whether you know it or not. We might not look the same in the physical sense, but that was because, you know, we go through a lot of things. You know, we go through a lot of, you know, marriages and things of that sort. So, of course, we're going to look a little different, but we come from the same nation altogether, right? So, with that being said, you know, go back to that, King.
Jeremiah 17 and 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage.
So, like I say, you know, we've been cut off from our heritage because the word Mexican, it means moon person, right? AKA an alien, AKA a Martian. Are you a Martian? No, you God's chosen people, brother. Right? Keep going.
So like that I gave thee,
Right?
and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies,
Right?
in the land which thou knowest not.
And we've been serving our enemies for centuries, brought to a land that we never knew, and then we started serving our enemies in a land that we never knew, right? So, bring this up, King.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse number 6.
Bring it out.
For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God.
So now you heard the curse of how we was going to discontinue from who we are. Now you're hearing about the blessing that the Most High put on us as a nation of people, right?
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee.
Right? The Lord chose you, right? What's your name, brother? Emiliano. He chose you, right?
Has chosen thee to be a special people.
It means the Lord said you special, brother, right? He said you, this brother on a bike riding through Houston is a special man to me. The creator of all things said that, right?
To be a special people unto himself.
Right?
Above all people.
Above who?
Above all people.
The lowest of the low.
Above all people.
The Lord created you to be above all people. Right? You come from a nation of kings and priests, brother. You have to understand that your blood is royalty. You're more than just Emiliano on a bike.
That's right, King. That's right.
On a hot day. You know, you're royalty, brother. You know, spiritually, you got a crown, brother. You're meant to rule over many nations. I bet you didn't know that. Did you know that? Right? That's what the Lord got set up for you. Right? But there's a barrier to that. Give me Deuteronomy 10 and 12. There's something you have to do. Because when you watch these movies, you watch these shows, right? You ever seen Game of Thrones? Does a king just sit on a throne all day and do nothing? No, he got duties to fulfill. He got to look after his people. You see what I'm saying? We have duties as a nation, right? So let's see those duties as men. And the chosen men of the chosen nation of all nations, right?
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 10 and verse number 12.
Bring it out.
And now Israel.
Right? Because you being Emiliano, right, from the tribe of Issachar, are part of the nation of Israel. Does that make sense? So you're a part of the nation, right? But you have a specific tribe, right? Always remember that, right? So this is your duty.
And now Israel, right? What do the Lord thy God require of thee?
So now you got to understand, okay, I know I'm chosen, so what? Now you got to say, okay, well, this is what's required of me being chosen. This is what I have to do differently. Because what separates something, your favorite shoe, or I'm going to say it like this, right? You got any a favorite game that you like to play?
Good question.
I play chess.
You play chess? Now, what separates chess? You know, is chess the same as checkers? No. Chess got certain rules to it, certain regulations, right? There's certain things you can't do the same with checkers, man. And that's why it's your favorite, because it's different than other games. Does that make sense? The Lord made us his favorite because he wanted us to be different from every other nation. So you being different, right? Like I said, we have to abide by these rules. Watch this.
What do the Lord thy God require of thee? Right? But to fear the Lord thy God.
Right? To fear the Lord thy God, that means you have to understand that he can do anything at any given time. Right? Rather it's, Lord forbid, the train becomes derailed and something were to happen, right? Or whether you get blessed with $1 million. You got to understand that's the Most High that did that. We do nothing by our own will. Right? So you have to understand the Most High is in control of all things. Keep going.
To walk in all his ways.
To walk in all his ways. And we're going to touch on that. But you got to understand, okay, this is how the Lord is. If I'm his son, right, because that's what you are. To be an Israelite is a prince of the power, right? So a prince is the son of a king. So you being the prince, you're going to want to understand all the ways of the man that's in front of you. All the ways of the king, right? Because you want to be next in line, right? You're the heir. You're the inheritance. You want to be next in line to take that king's spot. Now, of course, you can't take God's spot. That's not what I'm saying. But, you understand, right? You got to understand the ways of a king, right?
Salakia. To walk in all his ways and to love him.
Right? And I got a question. Now, this might trip you up, but what does it mean to love God?
I got
you. Okay, that's a good answer. That's probably one of the best answers I've heard. Now, the Bible has a cut and dry definition of what love means, according to the Bible. Let's get 1 John 5:3.
I got you.
Wait. And brother said he loved this, man. This is what we come out here for, because the Most High, he wanted you to hear this. Right? We love you, Ak. That's why we out here. And Ak, that means brother. When I call you my Ak, that means you my brother.
God.
The Most High, he put it on our spirit to come and teach you this. Right? Bring it up.
This is the book of 1 John, chapter 5, and verse number 3. Bring it out. For this is the love of God.
Right? It's just going to say it plain and simple. Written plain upon tables in the Bible. Right? It says what again?
For this is the love of God. Right? That we keep his commandments. And his commandments are not grievous.
That's it. That we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not hard. That's what grievous means. You can't make, the Lord said, keep my commandments, but don't make it hard on yourself. That's all it is to it, right? So with that being said, I want to show you a few curses, but I also want to show you some commandments. You got some time for that? Oh, praises. Let's get into it, right? Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 1.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse number 1. Bring it out. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Right? So the Bible's saying, because we can understand, the Bible is written in Old English, and you kind of got to think about things, how it's broken down. So I'm gonna break it down. The Lord is basically saying, read that again. I'm gonna follow with you, right?
Verse number 1 again. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently,
meaning if you listen carefully, right,
unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
If you listen carefully to what the Most High tells you to do,
to observe and to do all his commandments,
right,
which I command thee this day,
which he commanded us all those years ago, which are still into play this day, right,
that the Lord thy God will set thee on high.
On what?
On high.
The Lord is going to set you on high, right,
above all nations.
The bottom of the barrel.
Above all nations.
The Lord said he's going to set you on high above all nations, brother, if you do what?
Above all nations of the earth.
Right? If you keep the commandments, the Lord said he's going to set you above all nations of the earth. That's a blessing and a prophecy. That has to happen. The Lord promised that to you, brother. The Lord promised it to your forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now it got to get passed down to his kids because they're gone now. So now you're next in line. Does that make sense? So you have to receive that promise only if you do what? Keep the commandments, right? And you can't make the commandments hard on yourself, brother. Does that make sense? All praises, right? Let's get the curse. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15. Doing it? Let's get it.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 15.
No.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Now this is saying on the other side of the coin, right? What happens if we don't keep the commandments, right? And we're going to see all throughout history what happens when we didn't keep the commandments, all right? So stay focused, right? The Lord said this is what's going to happen if we don't keep the commandments, right?
To observe, to do all his commandments,
right?
And his statutes, which I command thee this day.
All those years ago, from the first commandment that he gave to our forefathers. Or I say from the time when he spake to Moses. You remember that? You read about that in Exodus, right? From the time he spake unto Moses and gave him the commandments. And you got to understand, you got to put yourself in the Bible because that was you back in the day, right? So you got to understand, okay, the Lord, he was speaking to Moses and Moses spoke to me, right? So you got to understand, right? From that very same time, even until now, it remains the same, right?
That all these curses shall come upon them and overtake you.
So all these curses that's written are going to come upon us as a nation, not just you, Emiliano, but all of us as a nation if we don't keep the commandments. Does that make sense? Now let's see what curses that he was going to put upon us.
Verse 16.
Right?
Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
The Lord said we're going to be cursed in the city. Now, can you agree, us as a people, we was cursed in the city? Right? In South America, what did they do? They were slaves. They was picking sugar cane. Now, sugar cane, it had a very high death rate. Right? A lot of our people in South America died picking sugar cane. Right? Even though it brought in a lot of money for people that we aren't affiliated with, right? I'll say for the oppressor, it brought them a lot of money. We suffered and we died just by doing that, right? Our children had to do it at a young age, right? In North America, we had to pick cotton. So we was going through the same curses, brother, right? Y'all got 1 minute for the Lord, family?
1 minute, King.
Right?
And cursed shalt thou be in the field.
And like I said, cursed shalt thou be in the field, right? Jump to verse 54.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother.
Right, so the man that is tender among you and very delicate. What does it mean to be tender and delicate, you know? It means to be kind one to one another, you know, treating each other with respect. You know, we used to treat each other with the utmost respect. Now we talk about each other behind each other's back. We hate each other secretly, right? Why? Because this is a curse, brother. You gotta understand, everything that was said has come to pass, right? All these curses that's written in this chapter has happened already, and they continue to happen to this day. Why? Because the curses are still on us because we didn't keep us as a nation, we're still not keeping the commandments like we should be, right? Keep going, King.
And toward the wife of his bosom.
Right, and we're the leading number one analytic when it comes to domestic abuse. You know, in a household, the man beating on the woman she turned around and killed a man. Where that statistic? The first is black and the second is Hispanic. Right, so us as a nation, we're leading the statistic in domestic abuse. That's a curse that we just read in the Bible. Right? Keep going, King.
And toward the remnant of his children.
Now watch this. Pay very close attention to this. Right, it says, and towards the rest of his children. And the man is going to be known for doing something with his kids, or the lack thereof. Right? Let's read.
Which he shall lead.
Which he shall what?
Which he shall lead.
The fathers in our nation are going to be known to lead the children. Right? Can you have you seen that happening within our people? When we say, where's your father at? And he kind of went out to get some milk and he never came back. That happens to us. Now, of course, you have some of these things, they happen to other people. But by and large, these things happen to us because it's been a curse on us all the way, written since the time of Moses, right? And I'm gonna get that's it. But we could get the law now. That's all the curses I kind of wanted to get. Now I want to get the law because I see, you got an interest in the law, right? So, do you know any type of laws in the Bible? Okay, that's a good one. How many commandments do you think are in the Bible?
Good question.
14? Okay. And it's not a bad answer. It's okay to not know something sometimes, right? But according to the Bible, there's actually 613, right? Yeah. But don't be alarmed by that number because you got to understand some of those commandments might not even apply to you. There's certain sections of the when it comes to the law. You got some things that only pertain to the woman. You got some things that only pertain to certain tribes. You got some things that only pertain to the children, right? So, we have 613 laws as a nation, but a lot of those things may not even pertain to you, for one. And number two, me just looking at you, standing here listening to the word, you keeping most of them right now. So it's not, like I said, as we read earlier, the commandments are not grievous. They're not hard to do. Yes, there's some things you got to work on and things of that sort, and that comes over time. That's not just something that happens overnight. But at the same time, we got to understand that there's more than, we have to actually do our due diligence and read, and understand these things. That's how you get understanding. You got to read for yourself. Does that make sense? So I'm going to get a couple commandments you might not have heard of. Give me Leviticus 11. Bring it up.
This is the book. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 11, verse number 7.
Right?
And the swine, though he divide the hoof.
I'm asking you something. You have any allergies? You got any allergies? Right? So if a father, I'm going to put it like this. If a father knows that his son has allergies, let's say your father knows that you're allergic to peanuts. For an example, would your father feed you every day? He's making peanut butter sandwiches, and giving them to you, and he knows you have a peanut allergy? He wouldn't do that. Why? Because he knows you're not supposed to eat that.
That's right.
The Lord is the same way. The Lord knows, or he gave us certain commandments on things to eat and things that we should avoid eating, right? Because he knows, number one, the benefits of the earth that it does, and number two, what it could do to our bodies, and number three, because the Lord can just do what he wants to do. Does that make sense? Right. So I'm gonna show you some things, because it's called the dietary law. But I'm gonna show you the things that we can and cannot eat, that a lot of our people eat on a daily. Right? Bring it over.
Verse 7 again. And the swine, though he divide the hoof, and be cloven-footed.
You know what swine is? Swine. It's pig, not a swan. No. Swine, S-W-I-N-E. When you read about swine, the swine is a pig. It could be a hog. It could be a boar. Things of that sort. It's a pig. Do you like pork? Yeah, it's okay to be honest. I used to eat pork, back in the day. And a lot of our people, they're into that. They cook it a certain way. They roast it. They do all types of things with it. But the Lord said we're not supposed to have that. Right?
Though he... hold on. I'll read it again. From the top again. And the swine, though he divide a hoof,
right,
and be cloven-footed,
right,
yet he cheweth not the cud. He is unclean to you.
So the Lord gave requirements for animals. There are certain requirements about certain animals that you can and can't, that make it so that you can and cannot eat. So for example, for the pig, you can't eat it because it has to follow two requirements. It has to chew the cud, meaning it has to digest its food a certain way, right? And it has to divide its hoof. Now it follows one of those things. It has a divided hoof. The foot, it has a split in it, right? But it doesn't chew the cud. It doesn't digest its food in a certain kind of way. And also, when you go into it, the pig is filthy, right? They don't have sweat glands. So, when you sweat, your body gets rid of all those toxins. All that, built up bacteria and things of that sort, and the toxins that's within your body, your body sweats it out. It's a natural reflex, right? The pig doesn't do that. All those toxins and parasites, they stay within the pig. So do you want to eat bacon knowing that it could give you pinworms?
Yeah, that's why it stays salty.
And that's why it's salty. You don't ever have to season bacon. It's salty for a reason, because it's full of toxins and impurities, right? And that's just on one fold. They eat everything that you put in front of them. You can put a dead mouse in front of it and they'll eat it. And now you're eating that because you ate what the pig ate. You see what I'm saying? So the Lord, he put a difference between a clean animal and an unclean animal. Now you can have your cows, your chickens, your lambs and things of that sort, but you cannot have pork. And that's one of the main things our people indulge in, right? Keep going, King.
Verse number 9.
Go on.
These,
verse number 8.
Number 8, okay, go on. Verse number 8. Of their flesh shall ye not eat.
So it says, don't eat their flesh, right? Don't eat pig skin, or pork rinds, or things of that sort. Don't eat ribs, don't eat none of that, right? When it dies, do not touch it, right?
And their carcass shall ye not touch.
Carcass is a dead animal, right? So once it dies, don't even touch it, right? Because we're not supposed to look at it. We're not supposed to touch a dead pig, right? It's an unclean animal.
They are unclean to you,
right?
Verse number 9. These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters.
Do you like seafood, brother? Okay. Now, for your knowledge, I'm gonna shed some light on what we can and cannot eat in the water, so that maybe you can go tell your family. See what I'm saying? Go on.
Whatsoever have fins and scales,
right,
in the waters, in the seas, and in the rivers.
Right. So just on the land animal, they had 2 requirements. So do the sea animals. They got 2 requirements. right? It has to have both fins and scales, right? So, I know you don't eat seafood, but keep that in mind. They have to have both fins and scales to make it edible. It can't have one without the other, right? It can't have scales but no fins. It can't have fins with no scales, right? If it's missing both or just one, you cannot eat it. Does that make sense? All praises. And I'm gonna get another one. Give me Exodus chapter 20 and verse 8. I'm gonna close out on that. You know what today is?
I got you.
Break that up, huh?
Today is a special day. Now, on a typical note, you might think it's Saturday. It's just a typical Saturday. But today is one of the our most celebrated days when it comes to our customs.
That's right, King.
Right. Today will be the Sabbath day. Give me Sirach 33 and 7. Today will be the Sabbath day of the Lord. It's a high holy day that we got to keep. Basically, the word Sabbath means rest day. Because when you read the book of Genesis, how many days did it take the Lord to make the earth?
Good
I know
question.
you read the Bible. I know you know this. You said what? It's a tough one. It took the Lord 6 days to make the world, and he rested on the seventh day.
That's right.
So when you go into your calendar, what day is the seventh day? You want to look? The week starts on a Monday or a Sunday? All right. So exactly, it would be a Saturday. Right. So let's read that again. Exodus 20 and 8.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse number 8, right? Remember the Sabbath day, right? To keep it holy.
To keep it holy. The word holy just means set apart. Right? When we're called holy people, that means we're a set apart group of people. Right? Because other nations, they don't keep the Sabbath day. See what I'm saying? This is made for us. Right?
Verse number 9. 6 days shall thou labor.
So that's Sunday through Friday, right? Friday morning, Sunday through Friday morning, because your day starts at sundown. Right? And I'm going to get into that. But your day starts at sundown. So Sunday through Friday morning, you can do all the work that you want. Get things done, do what you got to do. But the Lord gave us one day out the week to just chill out and rest. Because we need rest. You see the condition that people are in. We need rest to stay mentally stable. Keep going.
6 days shall thou labor, right? And do all thy work.
All thy work. Whether it's, you doing laundry, whether it's, you going out and getting food for the family, all your work. 6 days, you got 6 days to prepare and do that. But on the seventh day, let's see what it says.
But the seventh day,
and that's Saturday, right?
Is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God.
Right. So Saturday, or I say Friday sundown and Saturday sundown would be the Sabbath of the Most High God. You and God share that same day to just chill out with each other, right?
In it, thou shalt not do any work.
Don't do any work. Like I said earlier, don't make the commandments hard on yourself. Don't do any work. Just chill out. If you find relaxation in reading the Bible, then do that. If you find relaxation in just kicking your feet up and sleeping, you can do that. Why? Because the Lord gave you that day to chill out. See what I'm saying? Saturday sundown is your day to chillax. And sometimes you might have to let your job know, look, that's, according to the Bible, or, you want to use wisdom when you say it, right? But, that's really your day off for real, right? Okay.
Thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maid servant.
Right? Nobody. Right? If they're an Israelite, if they come of Israelite descent, right, man, woman, or child, they're not supposed to be doing any type of work. See what I'm saying? So I'll praise you. So what's today? Today is Friday, but let's get Genesis 1 and 5. I'm gonna show you something.
I got you.
Because you're right on that.
Yep. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 1 and verse number 5. And God called the light day,
right?
And the darkness he called night.
Now this is dealing with the creation of the world. So it's been like this all since the beginning, right? This is Genesis.
And the evening,
right?
And the morning, right, were the first day.
So from the evening, one day, to the evening the next day, that would be one whole day. So your day, according to the Bible, starts when the sun goes down, right? And then another day starts when the sun goes down. You see what I'm saying? Rather than we think, oh, when the sun is up at 7 in the morning, that starts a new day, or 12 o'clock in the middle of the night, that starts a new day. No, that's not true. This your new day starts when the sun goes down. Does that make sense? Right. So from Friday sundown, which is now, all the way until tomorrow sundown, that would be your Sabbath day. That you chill out. Does that make sense? All praises. So what you gonna do today? You say what?
Read the verse again.
I'm read it again.
Verse number 10. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord.
Right.
The Lord thy God. Of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work.
Right. So no work. Now I know it's a process. It's gonna take some getting used to. You know, your first time around is not going to be easy. It's not always an easy adjustment. Now I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it's going to be something you could just do naturally. But over time, you got to understand, right? This is for the greater purpose, for you to serve the Most High God. And as a nation, this is something that we got to learn to teach our people. Does that make sense? All praises. I'm gonna get this verse real quick, and then I'm gonna pass it on to the next brother.
The book of Sirach, chapter 33 and verse 7.
Bring it out.
Why doth one day excel another?
So the Lord is saying, you know, why is this day better than any other day? Better than a Monday, right?
When as all the light of every day in the year is of the sun.
Right, the sun comes up every day. Why? What makes the Sabbath day any different, right?
By the knowledge of the Lord, they were distinguished.
Right?
And he altered seasons and feasts. Some of them hath he made high days and hollowed them.
Right?
And some of them hath he made ordinary days.
So some days are higher than other days. Right? Stick around, brother. Brother with the pieces. Right? Stick around. We go. All right. Well, we had to tell our people we're the real Hebrew Israelites of the Bible. You believe in God? You believe in the Bible? You got about 5 minutes.
I'm late already.
All right. Well, Lord willing, you could come back around, but you would be known as a Hebrew Israelite according to the Bible. All right. But with that, brother, today is the Sabbath day. You know, that's a commandment of the Most High God. And with that, I'm going to close out. Right? All praise to the Most High.
What's up, baby? How you living, bro?
Shalom, King. Shalom.
Shalom, King.
Shalom, bro. He got it.
Hey, what? Who got the mics?
I had you. There you go. Kahan. Come on.
All right. All praise to the Most High. Give me Colossians 3 and 17. Hey, how y'all sisters doing? Y'all got a moment for the Bible? Y'all got 2 minutes for the Bible? All right, King.
All praise.
Thanks for the work.
Right.
All praise.
Hey, how you doing, brother? Where you from? Where you from? Say what? What ethnicity are you? Dominican. Hey, come parlay with us for 2 minutes, King. You believe in the Bible? You said maybe? Okay, all praises, brother. All praises. Right. So, are your people indigenous to Dominican Republic? They are. Okay, come. Right. So, what we teach is the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the Israelites according to the Bible. Right. You know who Israelites are? No, not the Israelis. The Israelites. So, Israeli means inhabitant of the land. The suffix "ite" means that you descend from, right? So the Israelites descend from a man named Israel, right? Whose name was initially Jacob, but changed to Israel, right? Are you familiar with that? All right. So let me first read this real quick.
It's Colossians 3 and 17.
Right.
And whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God and the Father by him.
Right. So everything we do all in the name of the Lord, who they call Yahweh Shah, who they call Jesus, right? And we give thanks to the Most High God. So with that, brother, I'm gonna show you who the Israelites are according to the Bible. Give me the book of Exodus, chapter 4 and 22, right? And then give me 2 Chronicles 16 and 13. Read that.
Book of Exodus, chapter 4 and verse 22. And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh,
right?
Thus saith the Lord,
right?
Israel is my son.
What?
Israel is my son.
Who is Israel?
Israel is my son.
Read on.
Even my firstborn.
So the Israelites are the son, the firstborn son of the Most High God. Right now in the ancient world, the firstborn son, and he literally inherited everything that the king had. right? So the Most High God is the King of all kings. And the Israelites are his firstborn son, his chosen seed, meaning that they inherit everything that the Most High God has, right? So we inherit the kingdom, we inherit the blessings, we inherit everything that the Most High God has, right? Read this real quick. 2 Chronicles 16 to 13.
2 Chronicles 16 to 13.
13 to 16.
Lock it. 2 Chronicles 13 and 16. And the children of Israel fled.
First Chronicles. Don't worry about it, though. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Right? I'm tripping. Slipping them on pimping. All right, so now the question. I brought out that the Israelites are the firstborn son of the Most High God. Right? You got it? Go ahead.
First Chronicles 16 and 13.
Bring it up.
O ye seed of Israel, his servant, ye children of Jacob, his chosen ones.
It's what?
His chosen ones.
Who?
His chosen ones.
So the Israelites are the chosen ones of the Most High God. Now, that begs a question. If the Israelites are the chosen ones of the Most High God, and I'm saying that the Dominicans are the chosen ones of the Most High God, why do the Dominicans live the way they live in the Dominican Republic? Because they're crazy. Hey, I won't argue with that. They may be crazy, but why do the so-called black man live the way that he lives in America? If he's a chosen person as well, they're the same people. Why do we live this? Why are we the ones that live in the same estate everywhere we go? All right, they don't allow us to. Okay, I can agree with that, right? But let's say that think about that. I agree with you, right? But let's look at it on a deeper level. What people are the fastest people on the earth? Yeah. Right? And they would be so-called black people, right? And what people are the best people in baseball? Right? So the most athletic people are the blacks and Hispanics, right? Who are the strongest people? Same people. Blacks and Hispanics. Right? Nah. They on steroids. Black and Hispanics, right? Haitians are strong, right? So blacks and Hispanics, so Haitians are still so-called blacks, right? Blacks and Hispanics are the strongest, the fastest, most athletic. Who builds all the buildings? Right? So they're the smartest because you have to be extremely smart to build, right? So the smartest, the fastest, and the most athletic, but yet they're the most oppressed. Why? The system, right? But if you're smarter than the so-called white man, how come his system is over being able to overtake you? They set it up that way. How? From the beginning. Maybe not the beginning, right? But everything